Hello, welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate breakdown for May 3rd, Wednesday. We got day baseball today. We got night baseball. We're going to be going over the 8-game night slate for today. Before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube page. And as always, if you're not already, make sure to get involved in the LineStar community. It is only $29.99 per month to join LineStar. You get access to all of our DFS, all of our props. You also get involved in our chat where we have everybody helping each other out, trying to get some takedowns here. Now, let's get into the slate. So first, we have ownership for pitching. Now, Dylan Cease is coming in at the highest owned pitcher with Logan Gilbert right on his tails, followed by Shane Bieber, Miles Mikolas, Shohei Ohtani. For Dylan Cease, we'll start off there. He just hasn't been himself lately. He is facing a poor White Sox team, and everybody who he has faced thus far has been a pretty good offense. So we don't know if it's just because it's been tough matchups for him or he's just not doing well. But with ownership high, I'm not as inclined to take him. Now, we are doing the show a little bit earlier than normal, so ownership likely will change, a good bit throughout the day. But just take it under consideration that right now, ownership is high on him, 3.7 FIP over his last 20 starts, but that is up to 4.8 over the last 5, and his K rate is down. So combined K rate for today is 24% with him at 10K. Limits the upside there. So do with that what you will. Now we got Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert, I just think, is underpriced here. I think his ownership is going to go up. I think he will be the highest owned pitcher. He's versus the Athletics, who just aren't good, especially versus righties when they have a 25.3% K rate. So they also have a low WOBA, low ISO. They're just frankly not good. Now there is a chance of rain in this game. It looks like there might be a delayed start and then play. I don't think there's a huge postponement risk here, but watch as the day goes because I think they are the last game of the slate. And if that is the case, yes, they are the last game. And you don't have him because that game gets PPD'd. Well, you lost today. So make sure you keep an eye on that weather there for that game. Now we got Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber has been a phenomenal pitcher for years and years now, but the last couple seasons, he just hasn't quite been himself. That K rate has just dropped significantly, and it has continued to drop. Over his last 20 starts, 23% K rate. Over his last 5, it's down to 17.8%. That K rate just has not been there lately, and it still isn't. 310 FIP over his last 20, 3.69 over his last 5. So he's been a decent pitcher, just that K rate's not there, and he's still pretty expensive. However, this Yankees lineup we're going to see tonight is not very good. So he is definitely in play. I just don't think his upside is really there to warrant his almost 10K price tag. But real solid floor. So next we got Mikolas. Mikolas is just a little too cheap for the pitcher that he was last time out. However, if you look, his StatCast data doesn't look good. 5.4 FIP over the last 5 starts, 4.5 over the last 20 starts. So he just hasn't been a great pitcher. And the K rate right around 18%, 20% combined K rate today. At his price, I think he's fine, but not loving it. Now we got Shohei. Shohei at this ownership in these matchups, I love. St. Louis Cardinals haven't been a great team lately. They've been in a little slump hitting. That could absolutely come out anytime, but for now, I do like Shohei. And then if we go down the list a little bit more, I think Alek Manoah is fairly interesting at only 2% owned. And his super cheap price tag, we know the pitcher that he was last year. He just hasn't been that guy to start this year. So 4.15 FIP over his last 20, up to 5 to start this year. His K rate slightly down. It's another guy that doesn't have a real high K rate, but he is in a decent spot here versus the Red Sox. It is a hitter-friendly park. However, it's kind of cool today. Temps in the low 50s and the wind is blowing in. So that will help pitchers a little bit more. Another guy that is kind of interesting to me is Clark Schmidt. He's just extremely cheap. He has some strikeout upside, 26% K rate over the last 5. He is versus a team that doesn't strike out a ton in the Indians, and they can hit well. But 22.8% combined K rate at 5,900 is pretty interesting to me. Now let's flip over to FanDuel real quick. Get the lay of the land over there. We got Dylan Cease, followed by Ohtani and Shane Bieber and Logan Gilbert. Now, Cease on FanDuel is too cheap. He has huge upside versus, I don't want to say poor, but it's a poor offense in the White Sox. Ohtani, he has the highest upside on the slate. And I like Logan Gilbert, especially at that ownership. Now, again, with Logan Gilbert, make sure to pay attention to that weather. Now, let's look at some stacks for today. Good old stack attack. So we do have Colorado on the slate, so they are going to come in, or that game is going to come in highest owned. No surprise, Milwaukee up there. We got Baltimore showing too. Baltimore offense just keeps producing. Did again last night as well. So Brewers and Brewers and Baltimore on the list of highest owned. And I mean, frankly, they should be. Brewers, and I would say actually Colorado as well. Just because that game total is 2.5 points higher than anything else. So it's definitely interesting. Colorado, once again, probably going a little under-owned, being that game environment. The weather is actually nice there today. It is mid-70s, so the ball should travel a little bit better. If we go to the highest projected, we have Toronto. Toronto is in a great spot. I really like them, and I'm picking one of them as my home run call today. Pivetta just hasn't been good. 5.27 FIP over his last 20, 5.11 over his last 5, almost 2 points per plate attempt. So Toronto is definitely in a good spot. And then obviously you're going to have some Milwaukee pop up here. They are kind of expensive though, so take that into consideration. You'll probably need some cheaper options here. Now, Boston's popping up too. I think they are very interesting and going literally almost unowned. It's a cheap stack. And they're versus Manoah, who is a good pitcher, but he's been terrible to start the year with a 5 FIP. So I think you can go there as well. And obviously, like I said, Colorado. And as far as the ceiling, loving the Cubs today. Our system likes them. We got Jake Irvin on the bump. Don't really have much info on him, but also you get past him and the bullpen's bad. Irvin, I don't think, is expected to go very deep into the game as well. Now, just to check out here, we got the FIP. Yep, Pivetta, pitcher with the worst FIP over the last 20 on this slate. And we got Greinke with the worst FIP over the last 5. Now, I really do like Baltimore today. I think they're in a great spot. Most of them are going relatively lower owned, which is really interesting to me. I think there's a lot of lineups that you can pick from this Baltimore team that aren't going to be super high owned. And they just keep producing. the other thing is that the KC bullpen is bad. So I definitely like them. And now to flip over to get a whole scale of it. As you can see, Toronto's pitcher StatCast data is bad. Their bullpen, Boston bullpen, has been okay. I don't totally believe that, though. I think there's some regression there. KC bullpen is bad. Greinke has been bad. And then for this Coors game, we got Lauer, who hasn't been great over his last 5, giving up a lot of hard contact. So that's not a good situation for Milwaukee. So you got to like Colorado, and you got to like Milwaukee. Toronto, Baltimore, Cubs are all very interesting. Maybe throw Seattle in there and Boston as well. And that's probably the extent of where I am going for stacks today. Thank you guys. Have a good one, and we will see you here tomorrow. Have a great night. Good luck.